Hey guys, welcome back to the Interceptor. We're here with another Alliance War video. This is going to be Alliance War Season 57, War number 11, and AOH has matched up against MIBR. I am moving a little bit later in the war than I normally would. Also, I do apologize for being behind on the videos. The last week for me has been crazy. I've just been super busy, so it'll be a full week between War 10 and War 11 coming out, but then I'll have War 12 and the rewards out very soon after that, so not worried about catching up at all. I have lots and lots of time. But we actually have a pretty cool war today here because we had to take a particularly difficult mini boss with Ghost this war, so I had to bring her. And when we were doing assignments, I actually assigned this war. I assigned myself Shocker for this fight, and then I went in and I was like, you know what, I could probably just use Ghost and be fine. But we start off the fight just wonderfully, and we are down to half health already. And I'm gonna learn something, let's call it unfortunate, about the AI interaction between Werewolf and FaZe. Werewolf's AI reads FaZe as the opponent blocking, and it does not prompt him to dash in normally. So 3 times in a row, he just sat there and howled, gained a ton of power, wasted a lot of time, and now he is at his max charges, which means he's going to be going unstoppable and unblockable after the special. So here we're going to go for an L2, not doing much damage. We are now winning the health race for the first time. But then we just followed up eating a combo to the face, and now he's unstoppable and unblockable once again. We throw the SP3 out of desperation to get myself out of the corner, and I just truly don't know what I was thinking here. My Shocker is a rank 4 7-star and would have been way safer and faster than Ghost here, so I actually just have no clue why I was being this dumb. We are not going to die because we're going to throw our heavy here into the special 2, and it does finish off the fight with a nice 82,000 crit. But that just cost me some extra potions that were completely not necessary whatsoever. So we're healing up Ghost here, and I think next up we have a Shocker fight. Yeah, we have Havok on Heavy Hitter. We are going to switch off our Bleed and Poison masteries to one of my other setups, either my defensive setup or my offensive setup. But looks like we're going to go for our offensive setup here. The main difference is a couple masteries instead of Limber. And I also run lower Mystic Dispersion because I run max Mystic Dispersion for defense. Here we have Havok on Heavy Hitter. You're only going to get your openings through reparrying, but that's pretty reliable and it's not going to be an issue in this fight. SP1 into SP2 should finish off the fight, but I believe we actually do something interesting in this fight, and we throw the special one into the block, I believe, which is the smart thing to do here, I think. No, we let the SP1 knock down. Okay. In hindsight, it probably would have been better if I threw that SP1 into the block so that my SP2 would remove the protection, but it looks like we're going to do that right now. And while Havok did throw a special 1, he didn't get anywhere near enough plasma charges to deal any damage. In fact, all he did was heal me up to a full yellow bar, or just about it. I might have been a couple ticks away from a full yellow bar. But yeah, that fight goes very well. Ended at 100% health. Let's go into section 2. Honestly, I don't even remember what I'm taking because it's been a week. It's been a full week since this war happened. Oh, right. I went back to the Suicide Masteries because I have a couple Ghost fights. Right. Okay, so we're on path 6 here, taking Baron Zemo and Shocker. And this Fisticuffs node blocking debuffs and buffs just does absolutely nothing to stop Ghost. Like, sure, you're not going to get your cruelties. You're still going to do enough damage. And also, Baron Zemo is 6-star locked. So while this is a tactic fight, it's not a difficult one. And as you can see, my medium is doing 7% of his health. And we're going to throw an SP2 here. I'm not too worried about my own health. I could have just done this fight with basics and ended at 100%, but I didn't want to do that. That's kind of annoying. And yeah, we're just going to phase a couple hits. And this L2, I believe, is going to finish it off. Nice. There we go. Quick 25-second ghost fight. Not often that you get to fight 6 stars in Alliance War, so when I get to, and I'm actually doing even ranks, you see the power of Ghost in normal, like the normal power of Ghost, but obviously in 2025 you're going to be punching up at least 1 rank. So here we have a rank 3 Shocker on the prowess node, and basically the only thing here is obviously you can't parry, but you're going to be alternating hits. So you're going to notice in this fight I'm doing medium light combos, and that is so I don't give him debuffs from the node and trigger the power gain. But my first L2, he's already under half. I'm like, yeah, bro's cooked. I think he's going to throw a special 1. I just don't care. I think I'm going to kill him right here. Yeah. Boom. Like, that was punching up a rank, and it was even faster than the 6-star I took in the fight before. So very, very easy. I believe we're going to go back to Shocker for 1 fight. So, yeah, we are going back to Shocker, so we had to switch masteries once again. Switching masteries a bunch of times just doesn't really bother me. I don't really care, so it's fine. And I do remember this fight. We are taking Mr. Nefaria here, Count Nefaria, on node 39, and basically the strat here is for him to never throw a special attack. I'm going SP1, SP1 into SP2, and my heavy attack will kill. But if I let him start throwing special attacks, he will never stop. So we don't want that to happen. We have a PS1 going, throw that SP1, and the point of this matchup is to never let him throw a special. What do you think he's going to do? What do you think he's going to do? I'm hard blocking, straight into the block. Yep. For absolutely no reason, he decided to be super, super annoying and throw a special 1 into my hard block, or a special 2. So now I've got a bunch of debuffs on me, lowering my attack rating. So my SP2 into heavy is not going to kill. And yeah, this is just stupid. Like, I was so clearly hard blocking, and this is going to leave him at 12%. Enough time left on the stun to dash in, go for a combo, go back to your special 2 for a really tiny heavy, but special 2 is going to kill him. So still a safe fight. I would be comfortable taking that if I was fighting a rank 4. But yeah, there was just not really a super obvious counter there. So we decided to just send Shocker, and clearly it worked very well. So we'll go into our next fight here, which is... oh, no, right, node 41, Mr. Sinister. Shocker is a very, very good Mr. Sinister counter. 1, because Shocker does not crit, and unless you're running the Silk Synergy, he won't have the DOT. If you have the Silk Synergy, he gets DOT on his mediums. He inflicts shocks. And yeah, it's just a really good matchup. No regeneration to deal with. Just don't want to let him throw 2 SP1s in a row. And that's not going to happen because I'm fairly certain we're going to go... okay, we did go for 2 SP1s. In hindsight, that was totally unnecessary and I didn't need to go for it. But yeah, he's actually going to die before he gets a chance to throw a single special in this fight. And as you can see, if you get into your heavy attack with Shocker and the opponent's at 55%, you know it's way overkill. I definitely would have killed that with only 1 special 1, but I just thought it's my last Shocker fight. I may as well be extra safe. Or I don't even know what I was thinking, but probably something like that. And let's get into our final fight of the war, the reason I had to bring Ghost, and it is this Luma here. We have Lumatrix on node 44, and this is actually a really tough fight, even with all the tactic champions. There's not a champion that takes this super well. So we decided to go with Ghost. We have actually used Ghost for this fight in another BG once this season, and our BG has not seen this placement yet. So I didn't even watch the video. I just thought, you know what? It's Ghost versus Hazard Shift. The only way Luma can mess you up is if he goes for a heavy attack and he inflicts a tracking. So if you'll notice, right at the start of the fight, I did a dash back before my before I let him hit into my phase, so that I guaranteed he did not throw a heavy. There, unfortunately, he does throw it, but at this point, I'm just trying to get back to my L2, and I don't know what I'm doing, because right there, I don't phase. If I'd phased before that L2, it would have just killed, and I really don't know why I did that. I think I just misclicked and threw the special attack before swiping back, or whatever it was, and yeah, we did take a combo for it, but he died from the special one right after, so we're fine. But that was it for my main account. Let's get into my alt account. Unfortunately, we did have to double path 3, so I do have one less fight this war than I would have, but I still have like 6 fights, so it's okay. And we have a rank 4 Enchantress on this node here, and this fight, I am not exaggerating when I say I've done it 20 times. I probably should have sped it up, but if you guys have already seen this fight on my channel, if you've been watching this season, then you've definitely seen it. You can just skip through this to the next one. Nothing interesting happens. I'm pretty sure there's actually a couple times in this fight where I get really good spell RNG, and I just get a bunch of knockdowns or a bunch of intercepts. But here, unfortunately, the AI did not want to play into me while I had my haymaker, so I was not able to, and there I was stupid. I was not able to remove the spells before my haymaker came back, so I just had to land and intercept normally. But there, I get the exact same spells. Also, I really feel like I dexed out of that L1. I don't know why that didn't work, but yeah. So we're taking a lot of damage, and I am going to take a good amount of damage in this fight because of that, but other than that, it's a pretty normal fight. I'm very used to this fight, very, very comfortable with it. I will never die to this fight no matter what. Like, I could be taking this with a rank 2 7-star, I would still solo it. Actually, when I take it next war, it was the worst one I've ever done. I think I ended with the least amount of health I ever have, just because I had one really bad fight. And I don't know, it was just a very strange one. So we've already baited 2 special ones in this fight, so now we're going to be attempting to push Enchantress to the special 2. So we are going to use both our combos with the unblockable as well as the striker to push Enchantress to the special 2. And it's kind of nice that every time you bait 2 special attacks, you can then bait a special 2, because special 2 obviously does not give Enchantress any more spells. So it's just really nice. Here we want to avoid activating our haymaker until we're able to remove spells. And then here I think we're going to get this. We're not going to get this intercept because the AI decided to be super annoying. Here I should have just thrown my special attack. I was really stupid and I let 4 of the combat power rate charges build up, and that is just going to be really annoying and just was totally unnecessary. I don't know why I did it, because I could have just thrown the SP1 instantly and then intercepted after. It would have been way smarter. But now looks like we have to counter this. She does have the evade, which means we need to counter heavy with a dash instead of a heavy, but it's fine. And then here we're going to throw the special 1, going to remove the last spell, and she is almost going to be down. 20% left. Just going to do our short combos. That's the way you're going to take this fight down. My preferred counter for this fight is Titania. I have seen people use other champs, obviously. I've seen this done with... There, I just missed a parry. That was really dumb. I've seen this fight done with Void, and that's a really good option too. I believe that's Bailey who does that. And yeah, that's a pretty good option here. I think I'm trying to kill without baiting a special attack, and there, looks like we were able to. So 3 minutes 20 seconds, not the best fight. I did obviously mess that fight up a bit, could have been a lot faster, and I also took hits on 2 different occasions, but we got through the fight, we soloed, and that's all that matters. So now we're going to be going to path 3, and we have the Sentinel here, rank 4 Sentinel on encroaching stun. Now, obviously, the only buffs that Sentinel is going to be able to gain are his armor ups in the end of the fight, and Hood is going to counter that. So the other node that gives the defender increased attack rating, for each buff is not going to be active. So this is just encroaching stun, basically. So we are going to play this fight slow, try to milk our bullets a little bit, alternate your hits to keep analysis as low as you can so he doesn't gain a ton of armor rating right at the start. But if you don't know, Hood is actually stun immune while he is invisible. So as long as you have your invisibility up or you are in the middle of a special attack, then you are going to deal with the node pretty well. And it's basically just cycle all twos until you're ready to heavy, and fight will be down. So if Sentinel wants to throw his special attacks, honestly, I don't mind, because the only thing it really does is it gives me some extra burst damage on my hits. So I'll take it. And unless you block the special 2, there's not really going to be any downside to it. So now we have a Nick Fury. I believe this was the first war after he was released as a 7-star. It might have been the second war, but it was at least one of the first 2. And he is here on Safeguard and the Combat Deja Vu node. And while this is not a matchup that works super well normally, obviously because when he has his tactical charges you can't miss, you can just play it. It's Nick Fury. He's kind of an outdated defender at this point. Borderline not worth placing if there wasn't tactic. So we're just gonna push him to special 2, do shortened combos. Think we're gonna hit him with a heavy raid here. Make sure not to lose too many bullets, and we're gonna be completely fine. So want to get our invisibility up here, bait the special 2, and then counter it and throw my own special 2. With Safeguard, you're not going to be dealing a ton of damage. So this is literally just a take it slow and chip it down kind of fight. Throwing another special 2 here. Did manage to push to the special 2, which was nice, because obviously you don't want to have to deal with the unblockable too much in this fight if you can avoid it. There, I don't really understand how that happened. That was a really just awkward and weird moment. The first hit of my heavy hit him and pushed him into second life, and then he missed the rest of my heavy. I don't know, maybe it whiffed, or maybe it was that thing where he just doesn't you can't hit him while he's activating his I don't know, whatever it was. That was very strange. Also, you will notice that right there I did take a combo. I took a 4 light combo to the face, and it did not bleed me. The reason it did not bleed me was because I had a Fate Seal on, reducing his ability accuracy by 65%, so he actually only has a 35% chance to inflict bleeds on me. But there's also the fact that I'd thrown a special 2 after he went into second life, so there was no big fury. So even if that bleed had landed, it wouldn't have done that much. It probably would have done about 20% of my health if I had to guess. So now we have Mixmaster Thanos. This is a fight I have taken with Hood once or twice this season. I've also taken it with Chielth, who, if I were sending for something else, I would have sent Chielth instead. But Hood is just fine for this. I do know the heavy counter heavy spacing very well. So you're just going to be throwing light medium combos, weaving in your heavy attacks, and it's going to be a really straightforward fight. Also, if you don't know the way that Mixmaster interacts with whiffing hits, whiffed hits still rotate whether it's a light or a medium. So if you're going to dash in the middle of this special 2 so that you can then dex after, you need to whiff both a medium and a light attack, or your your medium that punishes the special is going to be evaded. But as long as you know the trick that you have to whiff 2 hits, there's not much to this matchup. Of course, the one time in this fight that we take hits while not indestructible, we have the hit crit, which is just perfect. But there we had to stop hitting because we were about to activate that. I don't know why I still did it, but yeah. So now we need to counter a heavy attack, and we're going to deal a ton of damage. Also, I did a very good job. Oh, we did actually take a hit in this fight. I don't even remember that. But we did a very good job in this fight of managing our bullets, and we are actually going to end the fight at 36%, despite the fact that Thanos only has one buff to nullify the whole fight, which is his Energize. But yeah, that went very well. So now we have this Sersi on node 45, going to be a really straightforward fight with Hood. Not too much there. We see this pretty often. Sersi on Hazard Shift. Hood just hard counters it because he is, in my opinion, the hardest counter to Sersi in the game. And he also counters Hazard Shift. So, very, very good option. And Sersi is not going to be a problem here. Going to be a pretty fast, pretty easy fight. I think we are not running a PS1 boost. Oh, we are running a PS1 boost. Okay, totally unnecessary, but I mean, I guess it helps. So get to your SP2 through the SP1 because I thought I was at SP2. It's not going to matter. Sersi doesn't even deal that much damage with Hazard Shift, so it doesn't really matter. We're not going to counter the special. We're going to let her get the unblockable, but it doesn't really matter because I am invisible. So you can't hit me anyways, whether you're unblockable or not. And I think we are probably going to just go for a heavy here. No, one more L2, and then we'll go for a heavy, and we are going to be entering our final fight of the war with 31 bullets. So I was not worried whatsoever. That is a very good amount of bullets. And our final fight of the war is going to be node 47 Gladiator. I've said it so many times that this is the #1 most vulnerable node to being hooded in the entire game. And stop placing defenders that Hood can counter unless you're going to ban him. They didn't ban him, and they placed a champion that is extremely vulnerable to Hood and counters him in absolutely no way. So we're just going to Hood it, have a fun time. This was probably the most chill fight of the war. Probably the one I was the least worried about, even less worried than the 20-second ghost fights. Just because Gladiator does absolutely nothing. He is a noodle, and he is just here to tank hits. So, one more L2 most likely, and then a heavy, and the fight is going to be done. So, very easy fight. Quick 35-second nuke, or whatever that was. Went for a striker, just in case he decided to throw his SP2 after whiffing the first hit of his into my invisibility. And yeah, that is it for this war. Really easy war. Couple fights that I made some bad decisions on. I obviously messed up the Titania versus Enchantress fight a bit, and I also should have used Shocker instead of Ghost against Werewolf. That one definitely got very sketchy. But we did solo, came out of it alive, so not complaining. We're still okay. We are heading into War 12 this season with both of my accounts still being deathless, so hopefully we can keep that up and end like that, but you'll see. We are now 4-7 on the season because unfortunately we did lose this war. So GG's to them, but we did not have a good war. We needed to win badly, and we choked. So at this point, with there being one war left, we need to win the last war, and we need some help with docks to get into Masters, but it is technically still possible. So I won't spoil anything quite yet. But we are now 4-7 on the season. I have 0 deaths total on both accounts, and my PSR is 143 out of 143 fights soloed, or 100%. 57 of those fights are on my main, and 86 are on my alt. And I have an active deathless streak of 151 fights, with a 58 streak on my main and a 101 fight streak on my alt. So that is going to be all for today. I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.